Hi, everybody. I'm Christina Fotinelli. I'm your conference producer, and I'm so pleased to see so many of you here so late in the day. Thank you for all coming. It's my pleasure to introduce Michalis Fostiropoulos to you today. Michalis is the director of Almi Tankers, a young and fast-growing shipping company that is bringing innovation into the very traditional shipping industry in unexpected ways with impressive results. And perhaps what's most interesting of all is the source of all of this inspiration. But that's enough from me. Please welcome Michalis Fostiropoulos.
Apologies for arriving late in the middle of the discussion by the distinguished professors who were here before me. I just spent 3 demanding but rewarding weeks in Oxford attending the Advanced Management and Leadership program, so bear with me if my performance isn't what usually tends to be. So, playing to win, driving innovation from within. It is a pleasure to be here with you today at Reload Greece, and I would like to thank Christina Fotinelli and Yannis Paleologos for giving me the opportunity to share with you an aspect of my work that has a very special meaning for me. I have studied sociology and economics at City University and naturally shipping, trade and finance at the Kostas Gramenos Center of Cass Business School, where this spring, 16 years after graduating, I started teaching an elective on shipping company management. In fact, on the way in, I met some of the students of the current cohort who were not aware of this, and I advertised the course. And it was during my tenure as the CEO of First Sky Shipping and Trading, a bulk carrier operator based in Athens, that I learned the valuable lessons I will be sharing with you today. And in 2009, along with my brothers, Alexander and John, we established a tanker operator, Almi Tankers, where my journey of lifelong learning continues. In the shipping industry, when one speaks of innovation, it is usually technological or operational innovations that spring to mind, such as long-stroke, ecological main engines, or TMSA, the Tanker Management Self-Assessment Framework. However, today, I would like to tell you about the power of collective participation in strategic planning and decision-making, and how we can harness its value. The best practice I will be sharing with you today are not my inventions. Most of them are from the work of Ari Degeus and Peter Senge, and Kaplan and Norton. And the panel of economists who was sitting here before said we should introduce best practices from other countries into Greece, and this is what I have been doing. So, hang on a minute. I can hear you say, isn't shipping... how do I move to the next slide? Where? So, hang on a minute, I can hear you say, isn't shipping an industry where the traditional vertical hierarchy, command and control style of management is not only very well established, but has also been serving its purpose reliably for centuries? Why mess with it? Well, are we playing to win? And if so, how does victory look like for a tanker operator? Now, this is a model developed by A.G. Lafley, who was the CEO of Procter & Gamble for many years, and Roger Martin, who was the dean of the Rotman Business School in Toronto. And it is the template we use to draft our vision and our mission statements. So these are 5 interconnecting questions, and the answers to these questions are are our strategy, is our strategy. So what is our winning aspiration? Where will we play? How will we win? What capabilities must we have? And what management systems are required? If you log onto our website, almitankers.gr, you'll be able to read the vision and the mission and have a look at our key performance indicators that are the evidence that the strategy is delivering the results that we're advertising. So, so for us at Almi Tankers, it means achieving a consistently excellent safety record. This is what the oil majors expect from us. And in addition, we see this as making a difference that counts, especially in light of the latest oil spill in Athens. And when our stakeholders are able to feel and see that the purpose of the company is to make a difference that counts in society, a multitude of benefits emerge, such as high levels of engagement and commitment amongst team members, recognition and trust by our customers, and crucially, at the end of the day, the long-term sustainability of the company. Driving innovation from within. To achieve this, just remember the acronym RIN. What am I referring to? Quite simply, to ensure effective decision-making and implementation, and to build engagement, commitment, and alignment among team members, it is essential for representatives of the whole system to be present in the room where decisions are being taken. This means people who command authority possess resources and expertise, possess information, and people who need to be involved because the decisions to be taken will affect them. The general idea is to shift from experts solving problems to having every team member participate in the effort to improve not just to solve a problem, but to improve the whole system. And for us, this is the meaning of collective participation in strategic planning and decision-making, involving everyone, from our seamen up to the head office executives. So how does collective participation look like? Well, we embarked on our journey. So we embarked on our journey of collective participation in strategic planning and decision-making with our One Team World Cafe in Odessa in 2012, followed by the Voice of Almi in Croatia in 2013. Now there's a light that is blinding me, and my performance is suffering, so maybe I will move here. This is a facilitation method that I cannot hear me, there's no microphone. So this is a facilitation method that enables meaningful large group structured dialogue, and is especially effective if you want to break the ice and kindle a bottom-up approach. So hopefully the video will play now, and the music won't be too loud because I'll be speaking over the music. Here we are. So, our World Cafe, what's a World Cafe? We have people sitting at tables of 4. There is a table host who takes notes on the paper tablecloth and writes what the participants are saying. People spend 20 minutes discussing 3 questions. You can go from a more specific question to a more general question, or from a more general question to a more specific question. It's your choice. And at the end of the 20 minutes, a bell rings and people move to other tables. So how can cooperation be improved between sea and shore was the first question that we asked our seamen and head office people to address. And when they move to the next table, they give a summary of what was discussed in the previous tables and start discussing the new question. So if you became the company owner for one day, what would you change? the seamen were quite worried. Why is the son of the boss showing up in Odessa? But by the end of the exercise, they were delighted. So given the more demanding industry requirements, what kind of training do you think will improve our performance? And this is the voice of Almi in Rijeka. What would motivate you most to be part of our team and choose to work at Almi Tankers over other companies? We have been very successful attracting seafarers from big Japanese shipping companies. What does it take to form a strong team, and how can teamwork be promoted on board? The reason is that they feel they have no one to talk to when they're employed by a big Japanese company, whereas with us, so if you could be a manager of a department at Almi's home office for 1 month, what department would you choose and what would you change? With us, they feel they have someone to speak to, someone who really cares about them. And shortly, I will explain to you why this matters to the seamen and to us. This is the harvesting session. At the First World Cafe, our seamen came up with 120 different suggestions. Quite a few of those were implemented. And there was a big breakthrough. I had been trying to persuade the technical director of our bulk carrier operator for about 5 years that we needed an electronic plant maintenance system. He kept insisting it wasn't necessary because everything was in his head. But then we got the whole system in the room, the seamen, the head office people. The seamen complained that there were delays in the delivery of spare parts to the vessels, and his resistance just melted away. There was nothing he could say after that. So, does it deliver any So, does it deliver any concrete results? The idea behind collective participation in strategic planning and decision making was a Harvard study called Behind the Factory Walls, which made us realize that we weren't the first enterprise that had hired former Soviet Union seamen, and nor were we the first one that had problems in delivering the results customers expected. So, we sought the advice of Professor Vlahoutsikos, who along with Professor Lawrence had carried out this comparative study of decision-making at 4 US and 4 Soviet Union enterprises in the late 1980s. Harvard's researchers had experienced the exact same difficulty that we had with our former Soviet Union seamen with regard to speaking up during meetings. Clearly, we had not managed to win their trust, to make them feel comfortable to speak up. And Professor Vlahoutsikos helped us to grasp their logic and bridge the gap. In 2009, we were experiencing a thriving bulk carrier market, and we were forced to raise crew wages 5 times in 6 months, as our best deck and engine officers were being poached by competitors and charterers, mainly German charterers, who would charter the vessel for 6 or 7 months. At the meantime, they had hired Greek superintendents who would visit the vessels at the ports, find out who were the best officers, and at the end of the 6-month period would poach our best seamen. So our best and most experienced officers would abandon us for an extra $50 or $100 per month without saying a word. Inevitably, this led to a deterioration of our safety record, as our bulk carriers were involved in a series of incidents that would have easily been avoided if only we hadn't been forced to replace our best seamen with less competent and less experienced ones. At this point, we realized that we needed a new strategy
on developing and retaining competent and engaged seamen. And collective participation in strategic planning and decision-making has been the solution we came up with based on the Harvard study. We could not just compete on wages. We needed a robust new strategy. The World Cafe events were a first introduction to ARIN, involving our seamen in the practice of collective participation. Several similar facilitated events have been held since then, both on board the vessels and at our head office. Their effectiveness has helped ensure that collective participation in strategic planning and decision-making is now embedded in our corporate culture as a core element. Our balanced scorecard, strategic focus groups. Is anyone familiar with the balanced scorecard? Yeah? Okay. No. Real business people are always familiar with the balanced scorecard. Well done. So, this is a practical manifestation of this approach. What is the balanced scorecard? The balanced scorecard is a tool for managing the execution of your strategy, and the main idea is that the foundation of your success is the development of your people. So you need to have strategic objectives for developing your people. Now, once you have competent people in place, they will develop effective internal processes which will pave the way for improving charter satisfaction, which will hopefully bring the expected financial results. So, for each perspective of the balanced scorecard, we have a dedicated focus group. These focus groups are made up of volunteers from all levels who monitor our progress towards reaching our strategic objectives. So this has been our roadmap to achieving remarkable improvements in business performance through the involvement of our people in strategic planning and decision-making. And a consistently excellent safety record has been our reward. These are the focus groups. You see, each focus group has 2 leaders, because I'm from Sparta, and in Sparta we had 2 kings. And the idea is when one goes away, the other remains the head office and keeps the work carrying on. They meet once per month. During the first week of the month meets the people focus group. In the second week, the internal processes. In the third week, the charter satisfaction, the customer satisfaction. And in the fourth week, the financial sustainability. They have come up with a lot of projects that wouldn't have been implemented had I been the only one taking the decisions. And these are our KPIs. They are more on the website. And this is the kind of performance that, according at least to ExxonMobil's vetting experts, is remarkable. And they believe that it's not due to the compliance regime that has been evolving since 1990 in the tanker industry. They believe that these results have to do with empowering our people and the engagement, commitment, and alignment that is created by our culture. So, are we? No, we are not, and we cannot claim credit for being the first to have applied collective participation in strategic planning and decision-making in a naval context. In fact, according to Dr. Martin Robson, Admiral Lord Nelson's radical consensual leadership style was in stark contrast to the norms of the time. He held dinners on board his flagship HMS Victory to talk tactics and to ensure his subordinates bought into his tactical vision. And in Nelson's own words, the officers who came on board to welcome my return forgot my rank as Commander-in-Chief in the enthusiasm with which they greeted me. As soon as these emotions were past, I laid before them the plan I had previously arranged for attacking the enemy. And it was not only my pleasure to find it generally approved, but clearly perceived and understood. A powerful example of achieving engagement, commitment, and alignment through collective participation in strategic planning, and the Battle of Trafalgar speaks for itself. And in the US Navy, we have contemporary embodiments of Nelson's approach. Captain Michael Abrashoff, author of It's Your Ship and It's Our Ship, achieved phenomenal operational performance, and so did Captain David Marquette. Where is he? There he is, yes. Commander of the nuclear submarine USS Santa Fe and author of Turn the Ship Around. Make sure you watch Captain Marquette's YouTube video entitled Greatness. There are a lot of valuable lessons, not just for managing ships. I would say for managing a whole country. So, in your business, are you playing to win? Did I hear yes? Are you? Yes. Yeah, okay. So, then make sure you are driving innovation from within and place your trust in the power of collective participation, as I believe it will help you unlock the potential of your people and make a difference that counts. And in crisis-battered Greece, that is priceless. Thank you. Any questions? Any questions? Apologies for the horrible performance, but at the program, we had to work for 15 to 16 hours per day, and I arrived very tired. Any questions? No? Yes, please.
My name is George Belesis. I come from the shipping world. I'm wondering how it's possible in a highly cyclical business like shipping to implement that strategy of decision-making in a commercial context, not operational, not only for operational matters. It's something that I think it's really interesting, and to see how you implement that internally.
Yes. So Almi Tankers is an operator of vessels, is not an investor. So the strategy we are discussing has to do with the operation of the tankers, not anything to do with investing in tankers. That is something that the owners do. We just operate the vessels. Any more questions? Thank you.